And this fall, we're doing some theaters that I'm very excited about. We're going to be doing the Queen Elizabeth Theatre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, November 9th. December 6th, coming to the Windy City, Chicago. I'll be at the Vic Theater. And then December 7th, going to be at the Turner Hall Ballroom in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee. I remember that from the movie Wayne's World. Alice Cooper hits him with that knowledge. Remember that? I'm old.
The internet is forever. It's immortal. They could be watching this on another planet 30 billion years from now. And it's all comments. What's real? What we say or what people are saying about what we say. Notes, flags, comments, likes, thoughts, input, suggestions. That's all that matters. What Henry Ford did with the car, that's what Steve Jobs did for the assholes.
Diagnosis.
Well, I would say that I'm licensed in 2 states to say that he's a sociopath.
He's going to be in therapy for a while.
You ask these people that? First of all, your identity's not even who you are. Your identity's who the government says you are. Your personality's who the people that know you think you are. Your reputation's who the people that don't know you think you are. Your social media profile is who you think you are. And your browser history is who you are. So...
Yeah, dude. I mean, the first question I obviously want to ask, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. Where are you at? Where are you at in the beef, Colin? Who do you got?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I didn't really even know they were beefing.
Yeah, it's just fun. I'm fascinated about your opinion on AI. You're the one guy that I haven't got to sit down and talk to. Oh. What do you think about AI? Because there was a news story I read today. You know, they're doing a AI priest.
What?
They did an AI
God.
priest, and he got defrocked.
Why?
Because he...
I have to ask why?
Yeah, well, it wasn't molesting, so that's actually kind of nice.
You know, one of the best things about when my brother was just Bishop Ford in Park Slope. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he was starring the basketball team. He was a great ball player.
Yeah.
He played college, everything. But anyway, he went to Bishop Ford, and the priests were always... There was always these stories. They were always like, you know, you didn't have to fall for them, but they all knew. Like, it was an open secret. But anyway.
Are there like priests like catcalling the basketball players and stuff?
No, but just, you know, stopping by after the game and, you know, in the locker. But here's the best part, which none of us noticed at the time because it didn't, it's like 1980 or 79. My brother's team would come out to... you come out to a song.
Sure.
And they run out music, which you'd hear, it's raining, it's pouring, and they'd come out to Enough is Enough by Barbra Streisand and Donna Summer.
What? They're coming out to
two of the biggest gay icons in history. And they come running out to it.
Disco Queen and Babs.
They were the most iconic. And I remember even at the time going, like we didn't think of it in that terms. But I was like, this is kind of a curious choice for a song.
I don't know, just pumping up a bunch of boys to play basketball.
Yeah.
But you just look over and the priests are like, can you come out to It's Raining Men?
Sadly, they weren't allowed to attack. I have a lot of sympathy for the priests. I feel like the priests, everyone's like, oh, they're molesters. Or someone was child molested, like any other of those fields.
Sure.
But for the most part, they were gay, in my opinion, they were gay guys who were told when they were 12,
that's a sin.
You're a priest.
Yeah.
Because he's the kid that won't play sports.
Yeah.
So like the parents freaked out.
He was the kid that wanted to hand out snacks to everyone.
Yes. So they pushed them into the priesthood.
Well, honestly,
when they were gay.
If you think about it, the pipeline of young closeted gay men into priesthood makes sense. They love secrets. They love telling long stories. they love handing out snacks. Well, and then they're like, hey, push all that down.
Yeah.
Push all that down.
That's exactly what happened. That's what I feel like what happened.
Do you think there's more child molesters that are priests or music producers? Who do you think? Because I think like that's probably the new gateway now. Is they're like they saw Lou Pearlman and they're like,
was he the one that was?
He did all the boy bands and then everyone.
Oh my God, was he a psycho? Yeah.
But they showed a picture of him and you go, well, of course.
I know.
He looks like he looks like the guy that does the numbers for the mob. that they have to cover up the fact that he's fucking the neighborhood kids.
Oh my God, yeah,
You know?
he does. It's
like,
perfect.
Like the mob is like, hey, you gotta stop touching these kids.
Oh God, Lou Pearlman, yeah. I forgot all about him.
Oh, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys,
Jesus.
O-Town. He made a lot of them.
Yeah, you expect a couple of stories. Can somebody leak a story?
Well, I bet those were probably around the time NDAs were popular, because
Yeah, but you can't make 12-year-old boys sign NDAs.
you can if you give them the right kind of toys or like, you know, a trip to Disneyland.
Oh my
to go
God.
sign this. And
That was part of the Disney training.
Yeah, it might have been.
Because I remember doing Disney gigs in the 90s, and they would literally like make jokes like I was on Disney property.
Sure.
And so a lot of the employees at Disney, and you try to bust balls and crowd work them.
Yeah.
And they just like, we can't talk about we can't make fun of anything to do with Disney. You don't know who's in this room.
Yeah, when I was like still a waiter, I got hired to do this gig at ESPN's Family Night, and this was right when they were like hot. This is right when they were acquired by Disney, and it was like, you're gonna be basically like an American Idol for a talent show for the people for ESPN, and they paid like way too much. It was me, Marcellus Wiley, and Sherrod Small. The first time it was me, Sherrod Small, and Artie Fuqua.
Oh my God!
And Sherrod Small said one of the dances made him moist, and then they didn't let him back the next year.
Right.
And they're like, it's Disney, you can't say that,
Right?
Because they're very strict.
Yeah.
It's almost military
Yes, they're very serious.
because they want that money.
Yeah.
They know how they get their money is by being squeaky clean.
Well, they used to be. I don't know now. It's a different. There's different standards of squeaky clean apparently.
Yeah, it's starting now, like starting to say shit and all that stuff on TV.
Yeah.
When you first got on TV, Remote Control and MTV,
Woo!
but saying like ass was crazy. You couldn't say ass, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, I guess
Because you were
we
the
didn't
bad
even-
boys.
We didn't even think about it. Well, I used to smoke on TV, and that was one of the saddest moments. Was when these guys came up to me several times.
Oh my God!
And I started smoking because of you. I was like, oh God.
Was it just natural? It wasn't even like a question that you were going to smoke while you were at work?
That old show was based on we didn't want to do it, so everything we did was with a bad comedian attitude, and it worked because kids love that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
12 to 20-year-old kids love comedians' shit attitudes.
Yeah, the fuck you, I don't want to do
Even
that.
if they don't like our jokes, they just like, yeah.
Yeah.
We had very childish attitudes. I certainly did, and Kenny did in a different way. And so everything we did was kind of like, yeah, we don't want to be here, so we're going to break whatever rule. And then kids click with that. That was part of it.
I would say that was almost the entire energy of MTV, especially even when I was young. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, music industry, here's a kind of a fuck you, but also we're playing your video.
Well, yeah, in the 90s. Yeah. In the 80s, when MTV first started, people don't understand. It was like the most, people were just, you couldn't move from the TV. You were transfixed that all these videos were happening. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, they put
Thomas Dolby, like 8 videos. And you're just like, this is the best thing ever.
Dire Straits doing 16-bit animation.
Yes.
And everyone's like, this is incredible.
It was incredible.
And I feel almost bad for kids now because they don't have, I guess YouTube is the closest they get to it, but
Sure.
not in a way of like, MTV was genuinely dangerous for a little bit. Like when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch it. Beavis and Butthead showing like the grunge and hip hop.
Right.
My mom was like, "You're not watching MTV,
Right. That
Because
makes
you're too
sense.
young. You're too young to be exposed to that." But that made me want to watch it even more.
Of course.
And then now it's just 16 and pregnant.
I know.
Now you just turn it on. It's just kids making bad. Now it's for adults to watch kids making bad decisions.
I can't even think. I can't even believe MTV still. You know what I mean? Still exists.
Well, they do the thing now that all cable does, where they have one show that they just play constantly,
Yeah.
and then occasionally, it's for them. It's like ridiculousness,
Right.
And like Comedy Central just plays South Park, and then occasionally does a daily show,
That's funny.
and that's all cable is now.
Wow, it's so sad.
Yeah, cable has became the internet. It's like vice versa,
Oh my God, you're right. That's a good point.
where the internet is cable, where you're like, I can watch anything I want.
That's a great point.
And cable's like, no, here's one show. But the AI priest, the
The
reason
AI
I brought
priest,
him up,
yes.
he got defrocked So basically, a Catholic charity, they launched an AI priest,
Right.
and then they had to defrock him only a week later after he went rogue, and he's taking confession and giving odd interpretations of Scripture.
Oh.
And what got him in trouble was he said babies could be baptized in Gatorade.
Oh.
Which is such early computer thinking that we think is cute still.
Right.
That truly terrifies me.
But maybe he got, you know what I mean? He was probably sponsored by Gatorade or something.
Now we're seeing the connection of corporate sponsors and AI.
Well, you know what must have happened? Somebody was talking about Gatorade,
And they brought it up.
and then it just popped into the
But
the algorithm.
But it's starting to get to the point where more news stories are popping up now about like weapons systems. It's Terminator,
Yeah.
where they're saying like
Yeah.
weapon systems are starting to happen because right now AI is in the cute phase.
Yes.
Oh, you can write a paper. It can write a paper for you.
Yeah.
Oh, look at it. Try to write jokes,
Yeah.
and then soon it's going to be like, we can nuke Ukraine if you want us to.
Yeah. If you guys really wanted to. What about did you watch the Colin AI?
No,
I watched it. Yeah. I watched the whole thing.
is it terrifying?
It's scary because even though the jokes aren't really jokes, the connections are all there. It sounds just like him. It looks like
Oh, the Carlin one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did that on Will Sasso's podcast, Dudesy, and they're also the ones that did the Tom Brady stand-up thing.
Oh,
Remember when they did where they said like Tom Brady's doing stand-up and they released a whole special, and then they went and did Carlin. But the Carlin thing to me, I watched half of it. What took me out was, as a voice guy, they didn't get the voice right.
Oh, of course.
So I was like, that's not Carlin's voice. If they would have had, I've heard AI that does perfect interpretations of voices.
Right.
That gets me to like.
But what did you think of the material? It was weird.
It was weird. It was like.
It was almost jokes. It was like watching somebody and you're like this, and you're like, oh yeah, that was the setup and a conclusion, but not necessarily a joke.
It felt like when someone speaks English as a second language,
Yeah.
like their first attempt at writing English
Well, because
jokes.
it's, I guess what comedy becomes is what the surprise, the unpredictability. So his things were logical conclusions.
Yeah, it was all.
And maybe so what makes comedy is when you just surprise people.
It was 1984, like, where
Yeah,
it was
it
like, I
was.
can't let you do that. And you're like, why? And you're like, that's not a logical conclusion. But this idea that they're bringing back artists who are dead, there's a reason. Like, let them be dead. Let new people. That's my big problem right now is I don't feel like baby boomers are retiring. They're not going away.
Look at you talking to one.
Yeah, go away. No, but I'm saying comedy is a thing where the older someone gets.
No, you're like this. No, but comedy is different.
It's calm. Not you. It's like when you say in the room, when you go like, I hate Germans. They go, my father's German.
Yeah.
Well, not all Germans.
Right. Or they're like, he goes,
You're not a boot. Are you?
They're like, I'm sick of these goddamn people that do. And they go, I do that. You didn't let me finish. I'm sick and tired.
Where you just catch yourself and you
People
go,
judging those people.
At any moment you could have gone, Lou Pearlman's my cousin, and I would have gone, and he's made a lot of good music, and that's what we're not talking
people
about.
criticize.
And the Pearlmans are good people.
It's easy to sit on the sidelines.
And
Orlando is nothing without him.
Are you not a boomer, are you?
Yeah, I'm 64.
When does baby boomer end? Because all right, this is an example. I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
But I'm early 80s. So
That's
for
cool.
me, I'm 40. Like,
But it's cool to be a millennial rather than Gen X,
see, I think where is Gen X? Let's come together and shit on
all right,
Gen
ready?
X.
I'll tell you right now.
Where the fuck
Gen
are
X
they?
is 1964.
So you're on the cusp.
Well, not really.
You
but,
could pose.
I mean, yeah, I'm not considered like boomer like the old boomers, but you know what
Like
I mean?
my mom is 48.
Right.
She to me is like, that's a boomer. That's like the
Yeah,
Trump,
that was the
Biden,
Vietnam. Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah, like got drafted into Vietnam.
Yeah, that's the real.
They're trying to
boomers.
hide their racism now.
They're the stars. Everybody always says that. Boomers, everybody's like, oh, they're racist. They're not. I can't take it anymore. It's a lie.
They were
it's
racist?
a lie. No.
Well,
they
why?
were no. Why? Because everybody, I'm saying, those 1948 people.
Now you're defending boomers the way I defend the young millennials, where I'm like, no, hold on a second, they work hard.
Yeah, because everyone just decided this lazy, the racism. It's like, oh, please.
Yeah. Greatest generation. Now, there were some racists.
Yeah, some of them were racist, but I mean.
My grandmother tried to act like she wasn't racist.
Yeah.
Born in 1927 in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Right.
And then she moved to San Francisco when she was 16. Like I always say, like a Jode. And and she would do this thing where he would be like, no, I'm not racist. And you're like, well, you had to have some prejudices. They were a prejudiced generation.
Sure.
I mean, we're talking about. That's why they got so many priests.
What's that now?
That's why so many gay priests had to be priests, because they weren't allowing gay people to be around.
Yeah.
But you're saying boomers not racist.
No, I'm just saying everybody's. It's very easy to be like, oh, racist, and it's just the whole term is starting to bug me.
The term racist?
Yes.
Yeah, because you want specific, like.
It's beating it. Yeah, exactly.
You're thinking Klansman.
Well, no, I'm saying not only thinking Klansman, but if it was like that person's subliminally racist, and the most racist are the people that say they're not racist, then you're really racist. And it's like people that go, I'm racist. You're a little better because you acknowledge your racism. The levels and layers of this self-flagellation are starting to get on my nerves.
It's like hot ones with hatred.
What's that now?
It's like hot ones with hatred, where you go, this is a little bit of hatred.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's like the standards shift in every conversation, and I'm really not part of the new white self-hate movement.
No. The white self-hate movement of I suck because I'm white has always stunk.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's what's happening. So these boomers...
Listen, we make great linemen. We make great kickers.
These boomers, by the way. Let's think about 1948.
Yeah.
You mean the people that protested civil rights that went down south? Or the
Woodstock?
Or the people that went to Woodstock or that protested the war? Are those these rabid rednecks everyone's talking about?
But I also think you have a skewed view because you're from Brooklyn, New York.
That's
where
true,
there
too.
was a mix of people.
There was a mix.
Not like, my mom's from Fresno. Now my
Fresno
dad grew
Bulldogs.
up go Bulldogs. My dad grew up in Oakland, so my dad was around black.
Yeah,
but my dad saw the divide of
course he did.
the East Oakland being black, and then Oakland, and
That's
then
right.
and then they moved out to Walnut Creek, and that first kind of version of suburban flight.
Yeah.
Which was the greatest generation and the older boomers.
Sure, but I don't think it was racist to move out of Oakland in the 1960s. Sorry.
It might have been because it was a fucking decaying city.
I mean,
you guys don't want to stick around Oakland while it falls apart?
Yeah.
Well, they're
running Huey P. Newton for mayor. Kind of gives you a hint. You're not necessarily woke.
I don't know. Maybe Sonny Barger's got some points, But that's what I think is interesting is how history is always a cycle, and you always just see things come around.
Yeah.
And the more you've been around, the more you've seen things like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now everyone loves to flog the whole PC movement or whatever, but you saw it originally when it was on campuses and shit. It was a little more contained in the 90s.
In the 90s, yeah.
Yeah. It was more like liberal college students.
The first person that brought it up to me, and I'm ashamed to say this because it doesn't make, it's just I'm ashamed to say it, was a comedian friend of mine, Rich Voss, who goes, I did a gig, and he made some joke about Asian kids being good at math.
I love that Voss is the canary in the coal mine.
Always a canary in the coal mine.
For all these fucking generations. And he goes, and something else. I make these Asian jokes. They don't like it. I'm a legend. He still called himself a legend in the 90s.
He was a legend, of course. And he said, and some professor in the back was just passing through. They weren't even at the show.
Yeah.
And they wrote a big letter that was published in the newspaper, the school newspaper. I still remember Villanova, where if you're a Knicks fan, Villanova's a very hot school.
Well, yeah, because you're loving Brunson and the other three players they gave you.
Yeah. But that's where it was, if memory serves correct.
Yeah. But what's crazy is I always hate, just as much as I hate the white hatred movement, I hate the idea of like, oh, I can't do jokes there because they're not ready for it. That like idea that somehow we're too dangerous in the way we're thinking, and maybe that, maybe the joke's insensitive in a way that I can make better.
Well,
like not taking notes.
But the point is, yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the point is, all the idea that there's a double, like you have to worry about getting a laugh,
Yeah.
and then another layer
Man,
of people reacting that weren't there, and
That
they
sucks.
laugh.
That
and
sucks.
that's what goes on.
And
now.
that's what a lot of social media is.
Of course
where
it
people
is.
get in trouble because someone sees a clip that's not even intended for them that just comes across. They're basically that professor. They're just walking through.
That's right. They're walking through.
And they see a clip and they go, what the fuck is that? I had a lady, I did a show at Davidson College. Steph Curry's.
Steph Curry.
Yep, Steph Curry's alma mater. And it was right when the Freddie Gray thing happened in Baltimore.
Right.
So Facebook was still relevant, and it was cooking with all this like, oh, fucking history, white people are terrible. And I did a joke about corporate takeover of New York City. But as a white guy, I have to admit, I like when I see a Starbucks in a tough neighborhood,
right?
Because those are white people embassies. I said, you go in and
funny.
you're like, yeah. I said,
funny.
Yeah, and
funny first. That's funny.
Yeah, and this woman, this girl, lost her shit. Was so upset. She was well, I found out, and Julia Rossi, great comic who lives in LA, she was opening for me. And she got mad originally at Julia's joke about how her Italian immigrant mother is racist in a very specific way. And then I did that joke, and this girl, I get off stage, and the lady that like handles you at a college,
right.
She goes, "There's a student here that wants to talk to you." And then like a shelter dog brought her forward, and she was like shaking, and she was like, "You are
shaking?
so racist." And I said, well, I'm not. Let's talk about it. And she was like, brought up the Starbucks joke. And then as she explained it to me, in my mind, I don't know if you've ever done this, when someone's mad about one of your jokes, you go, that is a good joke. Like,
yes.
You're like thinking, you're
well,
like,
because that's the bottom line of comedy. It's a good joke or it's not.
Yeah, and then she finally admitted by the end of the conversation that she had been on Facebook all day, and it basically got her all
worked
riled.
herself into a lather.
Yeah, and then she came to a show. She was walking through the student union and saw there was a show and sat down and saw Julia do that and was like, she can't say that, and then saw my joke.
Yeah.
And that was, and you're like, oh, when you finally peel back all the layers to the problem, you're like, oh, you were just on social media gassed up.
But this is one of my theories, which is what the internet did. It created these worlds that aren't supposed to clash.
Yes.
So, for example, with porn used to be you had to go to Times Square.
Yeah.
You had to masturbate in Times Square, and you had to acknowledge that this is a place where sickness goes on.
Yeah.
Now you can have porn right now on your phone.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is it can creep right into your pocket. I remember my time, not Times Square, was I had to go to a place called Newsland and get my friend who was 18 to go in and buy me a tape that was like, came in a box that was like this big.
Yes.
And then drop me off at home and go, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, leave me alone. How about that? My mom doesn't come home for work for an hour.
Yeah.
And then now it's so quick.
That's right.
Well, that's why they're also selling, I don't know if you've seen this, they're advertising Blue Chew, basically Viagra, to men in their 20s. Oh. Because they're addicted to porn, they're addicted to jerking off, and now they're not.
I didn't even make the connection of why Blue Chew was like a popular podcast advertising.
Yeah, because it's for guys who are like, hey, you jerked yourself clean.
Wow.
Until your teenage years.
It's really weird, huh?
Yeah. Hey, guys. 1 in 5 Americans has learned a new language on their bucket list. If that's you, make 2024 the year you finally check it off the list with Babbel. I've been wanting to learn a new language because all I know is English and I can't even speak that properly. So it'd be nice to study another language and then, maybe that boosts up my English. You never know. But be a better you in 2024 with Babbel, the science-backed learning language app that actually works. Babbel's tips and tools are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching so you're ready to practice what you've learned in the real world. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/Soder. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/Soder, spelled BABBEL.com/Soder. Rules and restrictions may apply. Babbel is conversation-based learning built with science-backed cognitive tools like spaced repetition, interactive lessons created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers. What else do you need? Cooking is not my strong suit, okay? I'm not good at cooking. I'm too dumb for it, but I need to eat. just like you need to eat. So why don't you get some Factor ready-to-eat meals? They come fresh, never frozen meals are chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Also, there's over 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled and get you good all day long. So go check out Factor's ready-to-eat meals. Fuel up fast with Factor's restaurant-quality meals that are ready to heat and eat wherever you are. Pancakes, smoothies, and more. Discover a wide variety of easy options for the entire day, like breakfast, midday bites, and more. There's no prep, no mess. Flexible to your schedule, and that's what you want. You want stuff that's going to help out your schedule. So get as much as you like or as little as you need by choosing your meals every week. Plus, you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. It's the perfect solution for looking for fast, premium options with no cooking required. Sign up and save. We've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. Head to factormeals.com/Soder50 and use code Soder50, that's Soder50, to get 50% off. That's code Soder50, SODER50, at factormeals.com/Soder50 to get 50% off. That's a hell of a deal. Yeah, because it's for guys who are like, hey, you jerked yourself clean.
Wow.
Until your teenage years.
It's really weird, huh?
Yeah. Now, the special, this is my question for you, because you do the special Our Time Is Up, out now on YouTube. Go watch it. In front of all these therapists and psychologists.
Yes.
Was there anything that they said about your material? Because what's great about it is you did kind of like a real world confessional with them diagnosing you, but also...
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah. Homeless Pimp sent me a little copy. But at the end, there's more in-depth things. Was there anything that they said that surprised you? Because they're watching all of this. They're watching porn get seeped in, hatred get seeped in. All this stuff is touching you at home where you used to have to go to a place to get it.
But was there anything they said about me?
That like surprised you where you're like...
Yeah. I mean, well, they said I have... a lot of them kept saying I had... What was it? I can't remember the term, but it's a condition which I probably do have. But it's sort of an ADD, ADHD combined with... like verbal, the way I'm speaking right now. So they were kind of saying that.
Were they? So basically, they were kind of saying like your brain works so fast it trips up your mouth.
That's how I want to look at it.
But then it also doesn't that make you kind of feel better for anyone that's ever criticized you in a way where you go like, where they're trying to talk shit to you and you kind of go, all right, well you're not wrong and there's a medical diagnosis for that.
No, it doesn't make me feel better because I know that you could. It's one of those things you could control to a degree. I can't control it on stage. But I'm saying when I shoot stuff, I probably could control it. But yes, it does make me feel better because I don't want to. I didn't get into comedy to do things. If I wanted to be a performer in plays or I would speak, try to slow down and communicate. I'm just trying to be myself, as you are.
Yeah.
That's the whole charm of this business.
I would also probably say that's one of my favorite parts of you as a comedian is you are Colin Quinn.
Right.
You're yourself.
You're yourself.
Because sometimes you see guys that turn it up. And I mean, especially you starting in 84, you saw really a lot of hammy, like guys that would ham it up.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, and that's disgusting because that's like a stripper. That's like someone acting sexy. And then you're like, but you're not horny right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, there was definitely a slick school that still exists, really, but in
it's still
different incarnations. But back in the '80s, it was what they call the piano tie, whatever period. But but look, even I had a thin tie too. I thought it was cool. I was the '80s,
Yeah.
And
the first time did you roll your sleeves up? Or
I still do it sometimes.
Yeah, you're like, look at me, baby, guys. I'm in the business.
But they would just move and they'd be like laughing and smiling and kind of charming and. It was just, it rubbed me the wrong way. Like you said, I was like, that's not comedy. You're supposed to be yourself.
Well, it's authenticity. It's almost like rock and roll where you can see some rock bands where you're like the Stones you find out, in Keith Richards' book, he talks about, we put on our girlfriend's clothes because we thought it was a gas. They thought it was funny, and then they started dressing, and then you see the guys that are spending 6 hours getting ready, and you're kind of like, wow, that's.
Do you know Kevin Fitzgerald? You know the guy from Denver who's he's a comedian. He was an ex-boxer. He was the Stones bodyguard.
No,
he's the greatest. He wrote a book.
Yeah,
you think about having him on.
I would love that.
He wrote a book, but he's I just worked with him last week. I've worked with him before, and great guy.
I think Sam Tallent's talked about him. Sam Tallent might have put him in the book Running the Light because he put some real Denver comics in there.
He must have. He just told it. He was telling stories, but he's telling. The great thing is he's not telling crazy stories. He's telling sophisticated stories about the Stones because he really knew them, and he really, they got to. And it was blowing me away.
Really?
Everything about it was just this guy really, he's smart.
Yeah, you also want to know the stories about about Keith and Mick doing heroin, but you want to know what they're getting breakfast in Akron, Ohio.
Well, how about this? He told me about about Mick. Every show, in those days, they put all the wheelchairs in the balcony. They wouldn't let them sit. They just put them all together. So they feel shunned over there.
Yeah.
Every show, Mick Jagger would put on a hoodie, hide. Him and Kevin would go sneak up. Would never tell the press, never tell anybody. Sneak upstairs to all the wheelchair section before every show for 20 years. Give them 8 tracks, T-shirts, talk to them, and then leave.
That's great.
Every show.
I've been trying to do a joke about this and it hasn't worked, but something that really bothers me now on the internet is this new kind of form of kindness porn. Kindness porn where they they go up to someone on the street and they're like, oh, can I have $1? And the guy's like, yeah, here's $1.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go, here's $100,000.
Yeah.
And I'm taking you to a Taylor Swift show. And they're like, wow.
Right,
and they record it. And they record them crying and being like, I was going to kill myself. And then you gave me this money. Yeah. And then they put it on their profile and they're like, check my link. And you're like, that's fucking disgusting. Because it's not that. It's the opposite of what you're telling me.
Right.
Because Mick would go do that and go, let's go up with all the lames. And he's like, oh, all the little noodle legs. Here's a little 8-track for it. But he's just doing it because he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And
he would not let the press, he wouldn't tell anybody for 20 years.
That's what I'm talking about with the authenticity. There's a lot of people that would have done that would have tipped off a PR guy. Or a PR guy goes hey, you should go watch the Stones.
That's right.
The Boston Globe's up there going Mick Jagger's not just a drug addict. He's also...
Isn't that wild?
Because a lot of the press stories about Mick Jagger and Keith Richards was they were menaces. They were a problem.
I don't know if they seemed relatively, considering who they were.
Yeah.
I feel the famous menaces were Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
everybody said they were just animals.
Yeah, they're just break shit.
And just
any band where someone drank themselves to death, you're almost that's a menace.
By the way, speaking of bands from those days, Steely Dan, one of the greatest bands. Everybody loves Steely Dan.
Yeah.
But their name is so hacky to me. It's a sexual, it's Steely Dan is some kind of a
I didn't know that.
vibrator or some. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking up what Steely Dan means.
Look up Steely Dan.
The sex term, because
but it really just makes me angry.
Because you're such a good band. Why have such a hacky name?
Because as you know, musicians are not funny, just like we're not musicians.
Yeah.
So if I went up to Steely Dan and told them the bands I love, they'd be like, "This guy's a hack."
Yeah, it's a sex toy.
It's a sex toy.
Yeah, it is it's an X-rated reference.
It's corny.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of see what the sex toys. Yeah, why do they call them? It's a steam-powered mechanical dildo.
Terrible.
Come on, you guys make great music.
Yeah, you can't come up with a better name. Some bands have good names. I don't know.
Well, there's I just found out the band Weezer is called Weezer because that's what River Cuomo's stepdad would call him because he had asthma. He had a breathing problem, so he called him And I like shit like that where
I like
find
that stuff
out
like that when you find out.
But as far as authenticity goes, when did you see? Because the 80s, you have that huge pop when you start 84, and then the bubble bursts around what, 93?
92. Well, I'll tell you.
I love it because every comics, you and Voss and all them know when the bubble burst.
Well, the bubble burst for Voss in 85, but if I may just correct him on that.
He goes, that professor from Villanova ruins everything.
The first time I worked with Voss, he was with this guy. well, I can't believe I forgot his name, Frankie Bastille.
Yeah.
And he had a black heart tattoo, and he's supposedly a Vietnam veteran. And I went on, Voss was with it. They walk in like the rock stars, and this
Was this Jerry Curl Voss?
Yeah, and the Rat Tail Voss.
Jerry Curl Voss.
Jerry Curl
rules.
and Rat Tail.
Yeah,
He
you
had a
had a
rat
Jerry
tail.
Curl and a rat
Yes.
tail? Oh, fuck. That's
And-
the two most disgusting haircuts on a
Oh
white
no,
guy.
Voss was, but it fit him perfectly.
Yeah.
And then, and I just remember going, "Who's this goddamn guy?" Because Frankie Bastille, I loved.
Yeah.
Frankie Bastille was a great guy, and but then the first time I was a Voss. But anyway, what happened? Here's when you knew the comedy boom died. We were all at Catch a Rising Star, in the window like Amsterdam hookers. I'm talking about Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I'm talking about even Jerry Seinfeld was there. All the comedians of the late 80s, early 90s in the window at Catch a Rising Star, First Avenue and 78th. Everybody would it was the boom of that block. First Avenue, everybody would open the worst bars, and they'd be lines of young people just got out of college, all moved to that neighborhood.
Sure.
So you'd be watching streets with every kind of customer, and they would just look at this comedy club and just keep walking. And that let you know it was over.
Did that hurt?
No, but it was good to
was-
see it that way because you really saw reality.
Yeah.
This is over.
Yeah.
You knew the boom was over.
Did you see guys freak out? Did you see
We
guys
all
that,
no, because it wasn't like now. The boom had been a boom. Like we knew it was a boom. Now it's a business.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you expect comedy to be part of life. In those days, it felt like a little bit of a boom. And Stupid Evening at the Improv and VH1 stand-up. I hosted Caroline's. I was as bad as anybody. And, so
because I keep thinking my generation,
Yeah.
the millennials,
Yes.
we keep talking about like when's the boom gonna fade?
right.
When is our boom gonna fade? Because the new boom came in, I would probably say in 08 with Louis. Louis really was
Right.
like one of the first guys that like I remember people that I knew that had zero interest in stand-up comedy.
Right.
And I remember specifically which clip. It was Louis on Conan doing his bit about internet on the plane.
Right.
And the give it a second. And people are like, have you seen this guy? And if you knew
Right,
comedy, you're like, yeah,
right.
it's Louis C.K.
Sure.
But then it started getting like, and then podcasts, all this. And now we're sitting around going like, when's this going to end?
Yeah. But I don't think it's going to end. I feel like it's bigger than a boom. I feel like it's now a part of life.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's going to...
But it's going to fade.
It's going to fade. It's got to fade.
Because people are going to get sick of this, of us
Yeah.
going like, all right, clowns, I want to go listen to a neuroscience.
Oh, I'm sick of it myself.
Yeah.
I've hated podcasts all the time. But at the same time, comedians, the good thing about comedians, which is why podcasts always work, is there's never an uncomfortable silence. We never shut up.
No.
I don't even like
That's
doing
my number one note.
Was that?
My number one note is shut up sometimes. Shut up and let the guest talk. And I'm like, no, I got to keep filling it. That silence where my dad left. That's where I need to fill every fucking time.
So that's it. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like even if it ends, it's still going to be part of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, did you see guys when you're talking about Seinfeld, Rock, all these guys in the window at Catch a
Yeah.
Rising Star? You knew that they were still going to do stand up, whether it goes up or down.
Well, we all kind of knew we would, but I'm saying, but it wasn't like, it was just this crazy time. Like this club was the club.
Yeah.
Lines on a block, paying off the doorman, and it was half empty all the time.
Yeah, what's crazy is sometimes I'll see old clips. I think Louis put one up on his website from the Cellar in like 98 or 97 or 98, and there were like 15 people in there watching a show at the Cellar.
Oh yeah, no, the Cellar. We used to have the guy, I forget, but he would drag people off the streets. He was the star.
Yeah.
The guy that would bring people to the club.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd like a Pied Piper then?
Lewis, I remember his, but he was a famous guy.
Louis Johnson? No.
No, he moved to England, but he's like Louis so-and-so, not gay. And he was, because he seemed so gay. And he would just bring in these people.
And you guys got to love it because you're like, oh, can I go up like after him where there's a crowd?
No, he wouldn't go on. He would go on late.
So he was just a barker.
He was a barker, but he was the greatest barker. He was just funny. He was like
Yeah.
a charming guy and just get people, but 20 people would be there. Manny used to have the waitresses. Part of the job was waitresses watch the show, sit in seats and watch.
No
There's
way.
no audience.
Seat fillers?
That was because he asked the comedians, "What do you want?" They go, "An audience," because you're paying $5, $7, whatever
Sure.
it was. Yeah, so it was so normal to be. We just did late night there for years. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But everybody wanted to go on. It was just as addictive even though nobody's getting paid for late night, everybody'd be there every night trying to get on.
But that's where
That's the addiction of
that's where the whole table came from, and people just busting balls waiting to go up, right?
No.
Okay.
The table came later. The table came a couple of years after that. There was no table. The table started because DePaulo goes, "Hey Manny, can we have some place to sit? I'm fucking wedged in here with the goddamn people going to see the show. There's no place to sit. We're goddamn comedian. The fuck is this?"
Yeah.
And then Manny goes, "He's right. They deserve a table for the comedians." And that was by probably 1998, 99.
Okay. And that's
maybe
when,
97,
and
98.
that's when everyone started.
Yeah,
sitting at the
DePaulo
table.
really demanded a
You
table.
told me a DePaulo joke one time when I opened for you about Patrice when he moved from Boston.
Yeah.
And you and DePaulo were sitting at the table, and Patrice was young, and he came over and told DePaulo.
Oh, he was no. He wasn't that young. He was already. It was after we did a couple of episodes of what became Tough Crowd.
Yeah. And he said that DePaulo was Patrice's mom's favorite comic.
He goes, "I can't believe my mom loves Nick DePaulo." He's like, the one time Patrice was trying to be like nice and whatever.
Sincere?
Yeah, and vulnerable, and then DePaulo didn't even blink. He didn't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He goes, "Great, now I know my demographic." He just looked at me. He wouldn't even look at Patrice. He goes, "Good, now I know my demographic. School cafeteria workers." And
Yeah. I heard you tell me that
Patrice
story.
goes like this. Oh my God. Oh, he starts screaming. Oh my God.
I love that so much. That was the same car ride where you told me my generation was too informed about comedy. And you go, that's what sucks about you guys. You guys know everything that happened. There's no
Yeah.
surprises. There's no good stories because you guys all care too much about comedy.
Oh yeah, and that was before podcasts.
Yeah,
Remember that was like
it was like 2009
it was
or
like
2010
Binghamton or something when
Yeah, we
we-
were going up to Binghamton, and you're like, you guys know too much about comedy.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, because we really, specifically,
You
like,
guys studied it. Thank God.
it was like me, List, Morrill,
But it was
Norman.
great because you guys kept the quality, like you kept us honest too.
Yeah.
I feel like because you guys are like, you know what I mean? The subset of people that really care about comedy benefit from that.
Yeah, because
You know?
it's quality control.
Yes.
Which I think that's a problem with a lot of performances now, whether it be like music or acting, or is that there really is no quality control. There's no gatekeepers anymore, which is great for a lot of reasons,
Yes.
but also the quality suffers.
Yeah.
Like the quality, you don't have any. I was so scared, and I didn't get into the cellar until 2011, way past. I mean, Patrice had already passed away.
Wow.
It was already like, or he had.
Geraldo had passed away.
Geraldo had passed away in 2010, and there was so many things of like, I was still afraid of you guys.
Right.
I remember the Bobby Kelly. I was opening for Bobby Kelly. I was on the road with him as a feature, and I was downstairs watching you at the cellar. And Norton came and got me, and he said, "Come here, I gotta talk to you." And I love Jim. I grew up, big Jim Norton fan. And I go upstairs, and we're at the table.
Yeah.
And it's Keith, Norton, and a couple other people, and they have a moment where they go, "Does Bobby Kelly bully you?" And you came up after your set, and you sat down, and Keith was like, "We're trying to get him to admit that Bobby bullies him." And I was like, "No, Bobby doesn't bully me." And they go, "Nah, Bobby bullies you. And it's all right. This is a safe space. You can say that Bobby bullies you." And Jim was like, "We all know he does. We all know he does." And I was like, "No, he doesn't bully me." And then Keith goes, "Does he ever scream at you?" And I go, "Well, yeah, he's Bobby. He screams at me." And as I said, "Yeah," you guys all started going, "Hey, Bobby." And then Bobby walked in, and you all got, "Hey, Bobby, you bully this kid." And Bobby's like, "What the fuck?" And then Big Jay told me about the time you guys had the court case because Bobby wasn't paying Jay when Bobby.
Oh yeah, Bobby was cheap charging Jay.
And it's like that.
We had a trial for Bobby at the table.
But that's what I mean with like that was quality control.
Well, that was quality control, but even Keith said it to me just last week. We were on the phone talking, and he goes, "We're pussies now." He goes, "We needed Patrice and Nick for real quality control."
Yeah.
Because those two, they were mean.
Yeah.
But they were quality control. They didn't, like, me and Keith and even Norton and Bobby, there's this. We let a lot of shit slide.
Yeah, you know what they were? They were like those dogs, like shepherd dogs.
Yes.
Like how they bite lambs and then
Yeah.
they keep them all in line or whatever. And then it's like, no lambs are getting bit right now. Or they're like, fuck, fuck.
Exactly. We're like shepherds that are kind of like, hey, come
you
on,
got your
move.
stick. You got your.
Right, yeah.
You're not biting our asses, but
Yeah,
like.
you don't realize you need that, but you do need, of course, everything does.
Oh man, yeah, because and that's what it is you need the person to say the thing of like, oh, you stink.
Yeah.
I remember nothing made me want to be funnier. I love Pete Cordiale.
Yeah.
And
dude.
Yeah, when I got passed.
You could probably do a good Pete impression.
I can't do a good Pete.
Really?
I love Pete Cordiale. I can't do a good Pete Cordiale.
That high voice again.
He's like, dude, fuck it. Dude, he had the funniest line on me. But when I first got passed,
Right.
I was bombing. At the cellar. And I see Pete in the back hallway. And then I go upstairs, and it's like an hour later, and Pete goes, all these new guys coming around, and they suck. And he wasn't calling me out,
Right.
but I felt it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to go write better jokes.
Yeah.
And it just made me want to go get better. But he had a great line on me. I was still smoking cigarettes, and he was sitting there talking to him at the table, and I had my cigarette out, and Pete goes, you going to go smoke? And I said, yeah, I'll go smoke. And then he was talking or something, and I'm like, hey, Pete, you want to go smoke a cigarette? And he goes, all right. What is this, a fucking camp? I remember him like flipping out on me. He goes, Jesus Christ, I've had camping trips with less planning. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because I kept being like, do you want to go smoke? And I was just annoying him. But it was, I think that's a thing where like now when you do it, people want to go get, like, they go online and they're like, this guy harassed me and said that I sucked. And you're like, or you could just take it as, I wonder, my question is always like, has the internet created less accountability for people? Because it's so siloed. Guys, over 3 million butts love Tushy. Get 10% off Tushy with code SODER at hellotushy.com. Soder, dude, I'm telling you right now, I got a Tushy. They sent me one, and holy jeez, what have I been doing using wipes? Use a Tushy. It hooks right up to your water, sprays right in there, cleans everything. You feel brand new. Stop wiping until you bleed. Join the 3 million butts who have already made the switch to Tushy. For a limited time, like I said, our listeners get 10% off your entire order when you use the code SODER at checkout. That's 10% off your order at hellotushy, hellotushy.com with promo code SODER. Go get that Tushy bidet. It rules. That you can find people that will agree with your horseshit opinion.
What do you mean for comedians?
Just anybody. Just anybody.
Yeah, I mean everybody. Well, I just feel there's just a general saturation of everything.
Yeah.
So at one time everything's really, sensitive. At the other time, everything just disappears in the ether. So this is the craziest time in our lifetime.
Stuff goes away so fast now.
It goes away, but it's just a weird time.
Yeah.
It
feels
crazy.
like the end of the world.
It does feel like it, huh?
Yeah.
I feel bad for you younger people because it feels like the end of the world to me. You know what I mean? Who cares? But I mean, you guys got to deal with this.
I mean, I'm kind of realizing now that I'm in my 40s. I was telling Katie this. I always thought when I was younger, like if the apocalypse comes, I'll fight for what's right.
Yeah.
The Cormac McCarthy, the road. I'll carry on the
best.
light. I'll carry on the light. And then now I'm like, nah, let me be in the blast radius.
Yeah.
Let me die first.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? Yeah, I feel the same way. Almost like people say, we got to survive. And it's like, we're going to live underground, a bunch of cans. And somebody that you ran out of stories like 8 years ago.
But it does. There was a show called Station 11 that did a great job about the apocalypse and kind of like everything that we had that's gone or whatever. And now you kind of feel like there's so much stuff that we have now that you can see if there was an apocalypse that they would look back and go, like Uber Eats. Yeah. They're just like, they could just order food to their house.
Yeah.
And then they're foraging for radioactive deer.
Well, why are they foraging for?
I'm saying in the apocalypse, they don't know what they're eating. They're eating cans of beans. Or
well, what about the fact that they, that the Uber Eats, in LA, they have all those, mobile robot Uber Eats.
Oh, it's creepy.
Have
Did you see the one get hit by a train?
No.
Yeah, there was one. I don't know where it was, but it's going over the train tracks, and it just gets absolutely plowed.
Somebody must have done it deliberately.
Yeah, well,
the program.
Yeah, they're like, go ahead right now. I'm just trying to get these things
this is going to be cool. I'm getting fired anyway. Let's do this.
Yeah, I want to see this thing get blown up. But when you do the special in D.C. in front of these
psychiatrists,
were they psychiatrists? I like the guy.
Psychologists, psychiatrists.
You go, hey, you look like a social media therapist.
Oh my God!
And they went nuts, and they were like, he is.
He's like the rock. That guy was a rock star. Matthias. Yeah. He's great. He looked like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Better looking.
And they're the ones that do the camera thing where they're like, if you're not feeling good, do a check-in.
But it makes sense because now especially it makes sense. Like all these remote things, people,
they're alone.
You might as well. I mean,
it's the reason I said that people in LA are always a little bit crazier than the people in New York.
Yeah.
They're in their cars, so they're just encapsulated.
That's right.
And then they get to a place where everyone's faking it to each other to get something out of each other.
Right.
Whereas New York, you're on the train next to a guy that just put up scaffolding and is tired.
That's right.
You're next to a drunk Mexican worker who got off work at 4 p.m. and is just pounding Coronas.
That's right.
And you're kind of like, fuck.
I was literally just talking to somebody about this today.
Yeah.
About the train, the subway is what makes people in New York sane.
Yeah.
It brings you back to reality.
Well, you look at a guy and you go, fuck, at least I don't got that.
Yeah. You just have to deal with people.
Yeah.
Not,
I think more public transportation would bring a lot of these people back down to earth.
I mean, but it's everywhere I go, every city I go to is sidewalks with no people, big buildings, I was just in Dallas. There's nobody there. Yeah. It's a giant city with big buildings.
Yeah.
Denver.
Huge.
Denver.
Huge
There's
buildings.
nobody there.
Yeah.
It's getting weird.
Yeah.
Every city's deserted.
Well, you know why? Because now this remote working anywhere, that's what COVID, the pandemic
that took
proved.
it to a new level. But it was like this before.
Yeah. Well, with New York specifically, what you see all these Russian and Chinese billionaires putting money into these huge apartments that Americans can't afford, and they're just holding on to these properties. They're not coming here. They're not it's just these empty buildings.
Yeah.
These empty luxury buildings.
Yeah.
Which are nuts. Because take the homeless and just put them in there.
Yeah.
Make those be our new, insane asylums.
Yeah.
And give a tax write-off to these oligarchs in Russia.
That's a good idea.
Just being like, hey, listen, we know you owe the place.
That's a great idea.
You won't have to pay this amount of tax if you let 5 schizophrenics live in your fucking 3-story high-rise.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the end of, and you were old enough to see this, I was too young for this, but the end of basically the asylum culture of if someone was crazy on the street, you take them to an asylum.
Well, what happened was there was a big scan. There was a big expose on the asylums in the 70s because the asylums were, obviously they were treating them like garbage.
Yeah.
And it was called Willowbrook. And the reporter that uncovered it was Geraldo Rivera. And it was in Staten Island called Willowbrook. And it was a national name. If you said Willowbrook, everyone
knew you were talking about asylums.
They were beating them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's what probably led to the decline.
Listen, just for a second, humor me. Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
We've all had jobs we've hate.
Yeah.
At what point are you dealing with crazy people? You're not getting paid well.
I know.
And you're dealing with people that aren't really there. You start going shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
That's the thing.
And I know we want to portray them all as Nurse Ratched and as evil people. Nurse Ratched, though, maybe she gets work to a point where she's like, shut the fuck up.
You know what? You're 100% right.
It's just
Nurse Ratched's you gutless bastards.
Fuck you.
I got screwed over. And really, if you look at Nurse, I wish we could interview that actress. I think she won Best Actress or Best
supporting
Louise
actress.
Fletcher.
Yeah.
So if we had interview and say, did you look back and say this woman probably got screwed over by some guy?
Yeah, what's your character development?
Like a McMurphy type guy, probably banged her and left her.
That's what it is. You don't know what's going on. You think about this a lot. Every job that I've had that I've hated, I've taken out something from my personal life at that job.
Absolutely.
Whether
right.
it's waiting tables, working anywhere. I've just been shut the fuck. Bed Bath & Beyond, when I was unloading trucks, I was like, fuck, I'm going to steal from you guys.
Yeah.
Because you're a multi-million-dollar corporation. Now they're bankrupt. Feel bad about that.
I know.
But I'm going to take a couple pillowcases. Because fuck you. You don't give a shit. And we don't ever...
And you steal the pillowcases in a pillowcase.
Yeah, that's what's... No one sees that. Loofah's in the pillowcase. Yeah. No one sees that coming. But you don't ever think about those employees that are like, I've had enough. Fuck you.
No, they've had enough. Well, a lot of times when I watch videos on YouTube, I agree with the employee.
Yeah.
I just saw one today where I kind of agreed with the employee. The guy was at Walmart, and he accused the lady of stealing, and then she's like, "You piece of shit, fucking cocksucker." And he's like, "Well, it said $7, it's $15." She goes, "Yeah, think I have a fucking receipt?" And he was wrong. And then he goes in the back, and then every comment was like, "They should fire him." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm the only one that thinks he was right." Then one guy's like, "I think he was fine." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." But like 80 people thought he should get fired. But I agree with you.
But there's like a lot of people, especially in these companies like Amazon and Walmart and all these places where all the CEOs are making more money than any royal family ever has.
Right.
And then they're turning on the employees going, "Can you believe this piece of shit got," and you're like, I don't know, maybe the guy's a little hyped up because he can't afford the shit that's at the store.
Everybody's busting his balls all day.
Yeah, and they're going like, "Fuck you." And he's
especially
like,
nowadays, people
with the robberies at like Walgreens and shit. And everyone's like, why aren't they stopping them? It's like, have you seen the people who are at Walgreens? They're not pumped to be there.
Yes. You're going to stop 80 kids from Keith Robinson's high school that all bust in at 4 o'clock.
Keith's just in an underground lair like Shredder, and he's like, "Go out there and eat. Steal for me."
But, I mean, it's Philly. It's like you're going to swarm. You're making, you know what I mean? They give you a night stick. You don't even have
I don't feel bad for Apple. I don't feel bad for Prada. They run into these stores and they grab shit.
I do, because even though I know they rip people off, it's still the general anarchy. I just can't accept it. You're from the West Coast, I understand. That's how you people roll.
I'm from Colorado. We stole the land.
That's how you people roll.
Yeah. Listen,
but
we're in a cow town until 1968.
Because I used to see, even in the 80s, kids come swarming down. They had all these crazy gangs, Midtown, just take over the liquor store, rob the candy store. I mean, the newsstand back in newsstand days.
Is there anything scarier than a pack of teenagers?
Oh, it's wild. It's like a swarm, like a bee storm.
Yeah, where they come in and you go. And I remember being a teenager and being like, "These old people can't handle us." And now you get on this side of it and you go, "I don't want to fucking handle that."
No,
you're tired. Exactly. You don't realize older people are tired.
Yes.
Young people are like, "Fuck you."
They're hyper. They're crazy.
They're hyper. They're crazy. They have bones that don't break.
Yes.
You know, we fall, we're in trouble.
Yes.
These kids are like, fucking grab everything.
No, you're right. They have so much energy in there. And they don't look strong, but they're strong.
Well, they have the bodies of
adults
look strong. And the minds of children. So they're just like, fucking.
Yeah, when you think how stupid you were back then, you're like, it's scary.
Yeah. And how justified you felt.
Yeah.
When you're a teenager.
Yeah.
That you're like, nah, I got this. Fuck them. They don't understand.
Yeah, imagine being in China during the Cultural Revolution, and the Red Guard, all the young kids, those are young kids.
Yeah.
And they all come in and go, "Where's the landlords? Who's the person in charge of this town? Get up there on the goddamn platform."
And they're going like,
Oh
you want to talk about empathy for a guy. He's going, listen, might have been a little unfair, and I'm kind of coming around to it.
He's like, what's his name of the Godfather? The rent, Chingwin.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Yeah, you don't... People like that, I think that's a sign of getting old, is when you start empathizing with the bosses or the employees.
That's funny.
Where you're like, I don't know, this guy kind of goes through some shit.
That's really funny.
You're like, I used to think, I really did just make a case for Nurse Ratched, who is known as one of the most evil people.
You took the right person.
Ken Kesey wrote her as one of the most evil people of all time, and I'm like,
Oh, he wrote on acid at the time. Plus, it was the revolutionary thing. He was one of those, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you're telling me my aunt did acid because of guys like him in the Bay Area.
Yeah, he was up there in Oregon.
He was the guy that was pushing all in the Bay Area, being like, do some little LSD.
Can you imagine?
Hunter S. Thompson and all them.
I was talking about acid today, another conversation I had today.
Did you ever do acid?
I mean, I did it all the time.
Yeah.
And
you did it all the time?
I loved acid.
How often would you do acid?
Probably in my life.
No, I'm talking about before you got sober, when you were...
Well, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think you're doing it. Yeah. I don't know, now there could be a medical treatment. One of the psychiatrists might have dosed you.
You know, they used to do it as a medical... All the Hollywood stars used to take acid.
Yeah.
Cary Grant and them. But I probably did acid, and I'll say mescaline and acid, because the mescaline's sort of a light acid. It's acid light.
Okay.
So I'd say I probably did acid 30 times, mescaline 50 times.
Would you do it like in my heyday of doing mushrooms?
Right.
I would do mushrooms once every 3 to 6 months. Were you more consistent with acid?
Yeah, I did.
Because acid was scary. When I was growing up, you're like, you don't want to do acid.
Acid was scary.
I never did it because it freaked me out.
It was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just talking about this today, how one time I did acid, and my friend comes in, and and I go, oh my God, he's an Italian immigrant from 1800s, and he's speaking Italian. And I was like, this is so weird. And then suddenly,
I love that your acid trips are intelligent. Yeah. Most people are like, you're a blob of shit. Yeah. And Colin's like, no, this guy, he comes over, you got him a backstory.
It was crazy. And it was so scary, like the acid things, because you'd feel like you knew you were on acid.
Yeah.
And you still know this is reality, even though it's not reality. But listen, I have to ask you this, because right before he came in, I was talking to Alex. And he was saying, and I know you're probably like, I'm not a human jukebox. You are. Your impressions are the best.
Yeah.
So we started talking about Rodney.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were talking about Rodney's jokes.
Yeah.
So did you ever hear Rodney's joke about being an ass man?
No.
Where he goes, a lot of guys are breast. I'm an ass man. I know that because every guy go out and says you're an ass man.
That's great. That's great. Rogan has at his club in the mothership.
Yeah.
He has Rodney's notes on the wall.
That's amazing.
And I you smoke weed. I'm smoking weed at Rogan's club.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and he would write in his notes, I'm telling you. So in between, like a stanza, he would write, he'd go, I'm telling you, I got a doctor, my doctor, Dr. Vinny Boombots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he probably wrote that because he's in the zone of because when he's speaking, half the joke is when he goes, it ain't easy. Hey. It's never been easy. Yeah. And then he goes,
I've never got respect.
Nobody.
When I was born, they came out to my father. They said we did everything we could, but he still pulled through. Yeah, that was my favorite.
That's great.
That was like my dad and I's favorite guy.
But that's a great impression because Rodney's not as easy as he would seem for people.
Well, he's a low.
But you've got
tone.
his voice.
Yeah.
No, because it's not simple. It's not.
But I grew up loving just those easy ones where he goes, hey, a girl called me. She said, come over. Nobody's home. I went over. Nobody was home. I'm telling you, I get no respect. One time there was a house fire. My wife said to my kids, be quiet. You'll wake your father. Yeah, it was always him being the punchline, which was the best.
But that's a great.
I went to my doctor, Dr. Vinny Boombots. I told him I had a problem sleeping. He gave me a bottle of sleeping pills. He said, take all of them. Yeah, and then I would do I did woke Rodney for a little bit, which was fun.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, where that was like the classic, hey, I'm telling you, it's getting to respect women of color. And then now I started doing basic bit, like a bad modern comedy, Rodney.
Oh, I love
where
it.
He's like, I'm telling you, these fuckboys, they watch your Insta stories, but they don't text you back. I'm telling you. Woke PC culture, right-wing Rodney. Yeah. I'm telling you, this is getting respect. President Trump. Supreme Court should rule right. He's Stormy Daniels. Yeah, I'm telling you, she's a whore.
What age did you realize you could do Rodney?
For my dad, when I was really
wow.
When I was he died when I was 14, but I stopped seeing him really when I was 10. Wow. So I'd probably say I didn't have the low register,
right?
But I could do the cadence,
inflection, and you would remember the jokes.
Yeah, and he would be like, "Oh shit, that's great," and I'd always make him laugh. Impressions were always the thing that I would take up my time as an only child.
Yes,
I'd watch The Simpsons, SNL. I watched a lot of SNL, and I like to replicate those voices. That was always fun.
Well, by the way, I'll tell you one of the best sketches I'm trying to think of from your era. Yeah. Were you the 80s?
Late 80s. Dana Carvey was my guy.
Dana
Carvey was the reason. One of the reasons I'm a comedian is Dana Carvey.
That's great.
Yeah.
And did you ever meet him?
No, never met him, and it's preferable that way.
Yeah, of course it is.
Because Critics' Choice, his 1994 stand-up special. I made Katie watch it, and there's some great the OJ stuff that he has in there when he does Johnny Cochran. Yana's a beautiful man. Yana's a smart man. If I was a gay man, I'd have sex with Yana. Yeah.
But what my favorite sketch of those days was John Lovitz and Phil Hartman as the actor and the guy, his agent.
Oh, yeah. Where he's like, acting? And Lovitz was unbelievable.
Where he goes, you're finished. No, he's the agent in this one.
Oh, yeah.
And Phil Hartman's the actor. You remember this?
No.
And he goes, you're finished, Johnny. John Lovett's like, you're done. The industry's done with you. He goes, oh, what's the studio saying? He goes, I just told you, they're done with you. And he goes, and what's more, the public is sick of you. They say they never see your face in the movie. He goes, what are the people saying? He goes, I just told you.
Yeah. My favorite one, and I mean, it's an iconic sketch, is Phil Hartman doing Sinatra in the Sinatra group instead of the McLaughlin group.
Oh, yeah.
And it's with Chris Rock in it, and he's playing the guy for Power of the People, and he talks, and he goes, I got nothing. It's all pops and buzzes with this one. And then he does, and Billy Idol's sneering.
Yes.
And I forget who's doing Billy Idol, and he goes, see, that's your problem. You got contempt for the audience. That's what killed Dennis Day's career. And he's like, you think you're a tough guy? I got chunks of guys like you in my stool. And then I read the SNL book, and Piscopo was like, the Sinatra family found Phil's impression very offensive. And you're like, fuck you. That was the funniest.
The funniest, the best show, because I grew up when SNL started.
Oh, yeah,
were teenagers,
75,
smoking
80,
weed.
yeah.
We would be in a party. We wouldn't stop, but we'd put it on in the background just because it was on. It was a bunch of kids. And it was huge. And guess what? Second City TV came along.
Oh, my God.
And it was
Candy,
better than SNL.
Candy.
It was better.
You had everybody on that.
It was so funny.
I mean,
but it reminds me of, did you ever see Bob Hope? It was when Bob Hope, Woody Allen had just said Bob Hope was his idol.
Yeah.
So they did a sketch where Rick Moranis is Woody Allen and Dave Thomas is Bob Hope.
Yeah.
And he's walking around when he's playing golf. And Woody Allen's going, you're just brilliant. And he's like, yeah, you little Jew. Like he's just making fun of him.
Dude, the best is they just asked,
so funny.
They just asked Michael McDonald recently about this sketch where Rick Moranis plays Michael McDonald.
Oh, yes.
Running in to
I
do
heard
the
about
song with Christopher
I keep
Cross.
forgetting, right?
Ride like the, you know, and it's like, I mean, SCTV was something that when I started watching
SCTV
it.
was another level.
And Kids in the Hall. When Kids in the Hall
Kids in the Hall
started,
was amazing.
It was weird. It was just so weird that it was like incredible to me. When I'd watch it, I'd be like, oh, that's unbelievable.
But when SCTV came, just the fact that somebody had the nerve to go up against SNL.
Yeah.
And we were like, holy shit.
And Candy, prime John Candy.
It was like Johnny LaRue. And they all played, it was a small town, and they all lived there.
Yeah.
Which is perfect in Canada.
Yeah.
And they had dirt bags, and everybody it was really interesting.
I do feel like as a country, we're in a meltdown, free fall, and nobody's in charge, so everybody's in charge. And that's what because social media, we're in a psych ward, and nobody seems to realize that. People still treat it like it's a country. We're in a psych ward. You guys may not have noticed because of the phone. Everybody walks around all day arguing with people that aren't there. We think the government's listening to us at all times. We think everybody else is a psyop or a plant. We walk outside in pajamas during the daytime. We take medication on a regular basis over the course of the day. We play games and puzzles to keep ourselves from going crazy. We all think we have delusions of grandeur. Everybody walks around because of the phone. People walk around all day. I condemn all, okay, you're not the Archbishop of Canterbury. You don't get to condemn.